Welcome to our podcast. You don't have a problem with English. You have a problem with your brain, not because it's weak, but because it's loyal. It keeps doing what it has always done. Thinking in your native language, translating everything, slowing you down, making you feel like English is harder than it actually is. Your brain is not designed to learn English. It's designed to survive. So every time you try to study harder, your brain quietly asks, "Why are we doing this? We're fine already." That's why you forget words. That's why you freeze when speaking. That's why you understand, but can't respond. It's not a knowledge problem. It's a programming problem. And tonight we're not going to study. We're going to reprogram. Because the fastest way to think in English is not to force it. It's to make your brain accept it, especially when you're about to sleep. Because right before sleep, your brain stops arguing. It stops resisting. It becomes suggestible, open. And that's where the real change happens. So don't try to memorize anything. Just listen. Let the words pass through you. Because the goal is not to understand everything. The goal is to feel familiar. Let's start simple. I am here. Not, I translate this. Not, I analyze this. Just, I am here. Say it in your mind, again. I am here. Good. Now notice something. You didn't translate that, did you? You felt it. That's how thinking in English begins. Not with effort, but with acceptance. Now, I am learning. Not I will learn. Not I should learn. I am learning. Because your brain believes what feels present, not what feels far away. Say it again. I am learning. Slowly, no pressure. Now let's go deeper. I don't need to be perfect. Let that sink in. Because perfection is the biggest lie in language learning. Perfection makes you silent. Mistakes make you fluent. Again, I don't need to be perfect. Good. Now your brain is starting to relax. And when it relaxes, it learns faster. Now imagine this. You're speaking English. Not perfectly, but freely. You pause sometimes. You search for words. But you keep going. And people understand you. That's it. That's the real goal. Not perfection. Connection. Now repeat this in your mind. I can express my ideas. Not perfect sentences, just ideas. I can express my ideas. Again, feel it. Because your brain doesn't need more vocabulary. It needs more permission. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to try. Permission to sound not ready. Now let's change one belief that's been holding you back. English is difficult. That's what you've been telling yourself. For years, but your brain listens. And it obeys, so we replace it. English is familiar. Not easy, not hard. Just familiar. Say it slowly. English is familiar. Again. English is familiar. Because the more familiar something feels, the less your brain resists it. Now, I think in English, even if it's not fully true yet. Say it anyway. I think in English. Again, I think in English. Because your brain doesn't wait for proof. It creates it. Now notice this shift. You're not trying to learn English anymore. You're becoming someone who uses English. That's different. Very different. Learners wait, users act. Now let's go even deeper. I trust my brain. Because right now you don't fully trust it. You check yourself. You doubt yourself. You hesitate. But your brain learns patterns faster than you realize. So say it. I trust my brain. Again. I trust my brain. Now take a breath. Slow, calm. You don't need to rush, because this is not about speed. It's about direction. Every night you listen like this. You're building something invisible. A habit, a new default. A new identity. And one day, you'll notice something strange. You'll respond in English, without thinking. Not because you forced it, but because it became natural. That's when you know your brain has changed. So tonight, don't try to remember. Don't try to study, just listen. Let the language stay with you as you fall asleep. And when you wake up, you won't feel different immediately. But something small will shift. A sentence will come faster. A word will feel easier. A moment will feel lighter. And that's how it begins. Quietly, gently, powerfully. Now close your eyes and let English become part of you. You're not bad at remembering. You've just been remembering the wrong way. You can forget what you studied yesterday, but remember one embarrassing moment from years ago in perfect detail. So your brain isn't weak, it's selective. It doesn't store information, it stores meaning. That's why the more you try to force something into your head, the faster it disappears. But one random song, you hear it once and it follows you for days. The difference is simple: emotion, connection, relevance. If you want to remember without effort, stop asking, "How do I memorize this?" Ask, "Why would I care about this?" Because the moment something feels personal, your brain pays attention. Don't memorize words. Use them to talk about your life. Don't repeat sentences. Say them like you actually mean them. Don't study facts. Turn them into small stories. Because stories feel alive, and your brain keeps what feels alive. Here's something most people never realize. Trying harder is often the problem. You reread, you highlight, you repeat. It feels productive, but it doesn't last. Because you're only feeding your brain. You're not challenging it. And memory is not built when you see information. It's built when you struggle to bring it back. So do less input and more recall. Read once. Close it. Then ask yourself, what do I remember? Even if it's messy, even if it's incomplete. That effort, that small struggle, is what makes it stick. 30% recalled is stronger than 100% reread. Another shift that changes everything. Forgetting is not a mistake. It's part of the design. Every time you forget and try again, your brain rebuilds the memory stronger. So instead of feeling frustrated when you forget, expect it, even use it. Because the second time you remember something is always deeper than the first. Now here's where it gets practical. If something feels hard to remember, don't repeat it more. Break it down, simplify it. Explain it like you're talking to a child. If you can't, you don't understand it yet. And if you don't understand it, your brain won't keep it. Clarity comes before memory, always. Another quiet trick. React to what you learn. Not in a big dramatic way, just enough to feel something. That's interesting. That's weird. That actually makes sense. That tiny reaction tells your brain, this matters. And suddenly, it stays longer. If you only study, your brain treats it like temporary work. But if you use what you learn, in conversations, in thoughts, in daily moments, it becomes part of you. You don't need more time, you need more connection. Let learning blend into your day. Say new words out loud, think in them. Notice them when they appear again. Repetition doesn't have to be boring, it can be invisible. And let's be honest, you won't always feel motivated. No one does, so don't rely on discipline alone. Build small systems, put things where you can see them. Create chances to use what you learn. Make it easy to come back without thinking, because the easier it is to return, the more often you will. And frequency beats intensity every time. Now here's a mindset shift. Stop trying to remember forever. Just remember for now. That's enough. Because memory is built in layers. You see it once, it feels new. You see it again, it feels familiar. You use it. It becomes yours. No pressure to lock it in immediately. Just come back to it, naturally, again and again. Until one day it feels obvious. Like it was always there. That's real memory, not forced. Not stressful, just absorbed. So if you feel like you have a bad memory, you don't. You've just been taught to try harder instead of smarter. The real way is simpler. Make it meaningful. Make it personal, recall it often. And relax while doing it, because a calm brain remembers better. A pressured brain forgets faster. So next time you learn something new, don't ask, how do I not forget this? Ask, how do I make this impossible to ignore? Because once your brain cares, you don't need effort anymore. It will do the work for you. And that's when remembering stops being a struggle and starts becoming something you don't even notice you're doing. Let's talk about something most people never admit. You know that strange satisfaction you feel after doing just enough? That tiny relief, like you've earned a rest, even though you didn't give it your all. That's not pride, that's self-deception. It's your brain rewarding you for pretending. And the scariest part? You start to mistake that little relief for progress. You think effort is about time? It's not. You can spend 5 hours studying and still learn nothing, because your mind was somewhere else. You can spend 10 years chasing a dream and still be in the same place, because you only gave 60% each time. Effort isn't measured by how long you do something. It's measured by how honest you are while doing it. Fake effort feels comfortable because it protects your ego. If you never give your full energy, then failure doesn't hurt as much. Because deep down you can still say, well, I didn't really try. That's how we stay safe, by never risking our full selves. We choose almost over all in. We choose effort that looks enough to others, but never enough to change us. And that's why life starts feeling stuck. Because you're always halfway in everything. Halfway focused, halfway disciplined, halfway alive. You're doing too much to quit, but not enough to win. You're trapped in the middle, where nothing grows. You confuse exhaustion with progress. You think being tired means you've worked hard, but sometimes you're not tired from doing the work. You're tired from avoiding it. from dragging your feet, from fighting your own distractions, from carrying guilt instead of growth. That's why you end every day drained and unsatisfied. You've built a routine around trying, not achieving. You've made effort your comfort zone. And comfort is the biggest lie effort can tell, because it makes you feel like you're moving forward when really, you're just circling the same point. You don't need more effort. You need real effort. The kind that scares you. The kind that demands focus, not noise. The kind that feels uncomfortable because it's finally honest. Most people never reach their potential. Not because they don't have it, but because they never give themselves the chance to see what would happen if they truly went all in. They spend their lives playing it safe, calling it balance. But balance without growth is just another word for fear. So maybe it's time to stop being busy trying, and start being brave enough to actually do. Because fake effort keeps you alive. But real effort, that's what makes you become. You keep saying you're waiting for motivation, but motivation is not coming. It's never coming. Because motivation doesn't show up before the work. It shows up after you start. The problem is, you want to feel ready before you act. But the real reason you don't start isn't because you're not ready. It's because you don't want to face what happens if you give it your all and still fail. You'd rather stay halfway and tell yourself, I could have done it if I tried harder, because that sentence keeps your pride safe. It gives you an exit door, a story to tell yourself. But that story is killing your growth. You see, fake effort isn't just laziness. It's fear, disguised as busyness. You keep yourself occupied to avoid silence. Because silence makes you hear the truth. You're scared of finding out how good you could actually be. The gap between who you are and who you could be isn't made of talent, luck, or time. It's made of focus. Every time you say it's not working, it's not because the goal is too far. It's because your attention is. You've given fragments of yourself to too many things. A little focus here, a little there, and then wonder why nothing grows. You know what's scarier than failing? Looking back and realizing you never truly tried. That you spent years playing it safe, moving but not progressing, working but not changing, trying but not transforming. And one day that hits you. All the fake effort, all the pretending, all the I'll start tomorrow. You realize you were never waiting for the right moment. You were waiting for permission. So it's time to choose between comfort and change, between appearing busy and becoming better, between talking about it and actually doing it. And if you're brave enough to go all in, not for the world, not for the validation, but for you, you'll realize something powerful. You never lacked ability. You just stopped being honest about how much you were holding back. So this time, don't just try, mean it. Because the world doesn't need another person pretending to work hard. It needs someone who finally decides to. You keep telling everyone you're fine, don't you? You smile, say you're okay, post something cheerful, maybe even drop a quote about gratitude. But when the lights go off and no one's around, you feel empty. You scroll through your phone trying to distract yourself, pretending you're just tired. But you're not just tired, you're exhausted from pretending. You've been taught that being positive means being strong. So every time something hurts, you tell yourself, I shouldn't feel this way. You convince yourself that sadness is weakness, that disappointment is ungratefulness. And when someone asks, how are you? You say good, even when your chest feels heavy. You're afraid if you tell the truth, people will pull away. So you build a mask out of smiles and call it confidence. You think staying positive will protect you, but sometimes it traps you. Because when you silence your pain long enough, it doesn't disappear. It hides. And one day, when you least expect it, it comes back, louder than ever. That's why you cry out of nowhere. That's why you feel nothing even when everything looks fine. Maybe you've told yourself, other people have it worse. I should be grateful. But gratitude doesn't mean erasing your pain. It means holding both truths at once. That you're lucky and that you're hurting. You can love your life and still feel lost in it. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. And that doesn't make you dramatic. It makes you human. You've spent so much time trying to be the strong one, the calm one, the happy one. But strength isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's about facing them, letting them breathe. You don't have to fix every feeling the moment it appears. You don't have to turn every pain into a lesson right away. Sometimes you just have to sit with it and let it exist. You've been told to look on the bright side so many times that you've started to feel guilty for even noticing the dark. You hide every crack, every doubt, every ache, and then wonder why you feel like a stranger in your own skin. You wake up, go through the motions, post something happy, say something nice, but deep inside you whisper, "I don't feel okay." And that whisper scares you, so you shut it down again. You've built your whole identity around being the positive one, the one who uplifts others. People come to you for comfort, for motivation, for hope, and you give it because you know how it feels to need it. But when you finally need someone to listen, everyone assumes you're fine. You've trained them to. You've trained yourself to. You've become the person who saves everyone but can't admit you need saving too. There's a kind of loneliness that comes from always being okay. It's quiet. It doesn't scream. It just stays there, under the surface. You laugh, you talk, you function, but you don't feel. And when someone says, "Stay positive," it doesn't help. It makes you feel unseen. Because what you really need isn't positivity. It's permission. Permission to fall apart without feeling like you failed. You don't need to turn every bad day into a story about growth. You don't need to pretend every mistake was meant to happen. Sometimes things just hurt. Sometimes they don't make sense. And that's okay. You don't have to make it beautiful to make it real. You just have to let it be. The truth is, being human isn't about being happy all the time. It's about being honest. It's about saying, "I'm not okay today, and that's fine." It's about giving yourself space to breathe without performing strength. You've carried yourself through so much already. You don't owe anyone a smile. Not today, not every day. Maybe that's where healing really starts. Not when you force yourself to be positive, but when you finally stop pretending. When you allow yourself to say, "Yes, I'm grateful," and "Yes, I'm hurting." Both can be true. You can love your life and still feel lost. You can laugh and still feel lonely. You can move forward and still carry pain with you. It doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It means you're living it for real. You've spent so long trying to become the best version of yourself that you've forgotten to just be yourself. The raw, unfiltered, imperfect version. The one that cries, doubts, overthinks, breaks down, and then somehow gets up again. That's the real strength people never talk about. Not the perfect smile, not the daily affirmations, not the "I'm fine." Strength is when you still choose to stay, even when your heart feels heavy. When you sit in the silence and let it teach you. Sometimes life doesn't need fixing. Sometimes it just needs witnessing. You don't have to rush to feel better. You don't have to force meaning into every pain. Let it unfold. Let it soften you instead of hardening you. Let yourself feel small for a moment, so you can grow again later.